Every leader wants loyal followers. And effective leaders understand that loyalty is a two-way street. Speaking of effective leaders, John Wooden said that loyalty means being true to yourself and being true to those that you lead. John Wooden thought that loyalty was so important that he placed loyalty at the center of the foundation for his pyramid of success. A dictionary definition of loyalty is faithfulness to commitments or obligations, or a sense of duty or of devoted attachment to something or someone. But realizing that the interests of those that you lead may sometimes be at odds, how do you distribute your loyalty to those around you, above, beside, and below? This is the premise of a classic business school dilemma that goes like this. Imagine that we are managers at a large corporation, and our large corporation has a number of employees who provide products and services to customers, and this corporation has shareholders who have invested money in the company's stock, expecting a return on their investment. So the business managers have a dilemma. Do they put the interests of the customers first? After all, without customers who pay for goods or services, a business cannot make money. So should the manager's primary concern be the customers, focusing on serving their interests above all else? Or should they put the interests of their employees first? It is often the employees who deal directly with the customers who pay for the goods and services. So should the manager's primary loyalty be to the employees? And should they focus first on satisfying the interests of the employees? Or should they put the interests of the shareholders first? Businesses usually need investors who provide capital to run the business, and a corporation is, by definition, not a corporation unless it has multiple parties expecting a return on their investment. You may not be a business manager at a large corporation, but put yourself in their shoes for a moment. And consider that if your goal is to maximize the long-term success of the corporation, whose interests should you take first? The customers, the employees, or the shareholders? Then consider whether your answers would change if you were only concerned about the short-term success of the corporation. John Maxwell has written many excellent books about leadership and success, including the 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership. And in the 21 Irrefutable Laws book, John Maxwell discusses Jim Sinegal, who recently stepped down as the CEO of Costco Wholesale. For Jim Sinegal, the answer to the business school riddle is clear. If you take good care of your employees by providing them a good wage and generous benefits and treating them like valuable human beings, those employees will be happy. And Jim Sinegal believed that happy employees tend to provide better service to customers. I had the opportunity to confirm this with Mr. Sinegal when I met him at the opening of the Costco store in Lubbock, Texas. Unfortunately, I didn't get to ask him many questions because he kept asking me questions about my job and how I liked living in Texas. But I got to confirm that Maxwell accurately summarized the management philosophy of Jim Sinegal. And I got to see Jim Sinegal interact with Costco employees. And the loyalty between Mr. Sinegal and his employees was tangible. These interactions suggest that Mr. Sinegal obviously treats his employees well, and his employees appear to be much happier than employees at other retail stores. And this is Mr. Sinegal's point. When customers receive great service from a business, they tend to have a better experience. And the customers are therefore more likely to want to continue their relationship with that business, meaning that they buy more goods and services in the future. And in addition to becoming more frequent customers, they may even evangelize to friends and family, encouraging them to buy goods and services from that company as well. When customers buy more and attract other customers who buy more, the company's profits tend to increase. When profits increase, the value of the corporation's stock tends to rise as well. And this makes the stockholders happy. When stockholders are happy with their return on investment, they tend to be happy with the management of the company. And when stockholders are happy with the management, the board of directors lets the managers keep their jobs, and the board of directors might even award bonuses to the managers, which makes the managers happy. So everyone wins. The success of Costco Wholesale seems to support the idea that Jim Sinegal's answer to the business school riddle is a good one. If you start by focusing on treating your employees well, you'll set in motion a chain of events that will satisfy everyone's interests. Now that we've considered the idea of loyalty in a business context, let's consider what this looks like in the context of a coach in a large university athletic program. Given that our hypothetical coach is coaching at a large university, the coach is surrounded by all sorts of other interested parties inside and outside the university. The coach does not have customers per se, but he or she does have players that he or she serves. Those players are accountable to the coach, but the coach is, to some extent, also accountable to the players. Instead of employees, the coach has assistant coaches, some of whom are paid while others may be volunteers. And these assistants are accountable to the head coach and help provide accountability for the players as well. Then there are members of the support staff who report to the coach, consisting of a director of operations, an administrative assistant or two, and people who serve the players in some capacity, such as a trainer, a nutritionist, or an academic counselor. The head coach reports to an athletic director, or sometimes at a larger university, an associate athletic director who reports to the head athletic director, who reports to the university president, who is accountable to the board of regents for the university. The athletic director and president are accountable to the rules established by the athletic conference within which the university athletic teams compete. But the athletic conference is also accountable to the presidents of the university, because if they are not happy with the conference, they might be inclined to move to a different conference. At large universities, it seems everyone is accountable to the NCAA, which governs athletic competitions between most universities in the United States. But while largely autonomous, even the NCAA is accountable to the universities that it governs and the federal government. Now, in addition to the official chain of command and system of accountability within which university coaches must work, which are tangible, the coach also must work within an unofficial system, which is less tangible, but of no less importance, that includes a number of interested parties not officially linked to the coach or to the university. First, there are the friends and family members of the players who influence the player in any number of ways, including which coach and university the player might choose to play for. The friends and family members may be interested in the success of the team, but they may be even more interested in the success of a particular player. Second, we have the club and high school coaches from our university coaches' recruiting territory, which may be local, regional, national, or even global, depending on the size of the coach's budget and his or her recruiting network. These club and high school coaches can help our coach find talent and can often influence young athletes as they are deciding what school to attend and what coach or university to play for. It is often the case, for better or worse, that these club and high school coaches continue to influence their former players during their career as college athletes. So for many reasons, it is probably going to be in our college coach's best interest if he or she maintains good relationships with these club and high school coaches. Third, we have the media. Now, the media may be a huge looming presence in a high-profile sport with a tradition of success at a large university, or they may be a much smaller or almost non-existent presence in a lower-profile sport at a smaller school when expectations aren't set so high. But in either case, the media can be a double-edged sword. The media can obviously have a tremendous impact on public opinion. If the media are cutting for you, they can clear a path, making it easier to lead your team forward. Or they can just cut your legs out from underneath you, making it almost impossible to do your job. And finally, there are fans, who may also be donors to the university or boosters for its athletic department. Nobody is officially accountable to the fans, but as a group, they can have tremendous influence. Fans mean money because fans pay for tickets and watch televised games that make money based on advertising revenues. The more viewers, the more money. So the media is accountable to the fans because if fans stop watching or listening or reading, the media will be unable to get sponsors. The university and its athletic department are, to some extent at least, accountable to the fans. If fans are upset with a particular coach, the athletic director may feel pressure to fire the coach for fear of alienating the fan base. The Board of Regents or the president of the university might even feel pressure to pressure the athletic director to fire the coach for fear that some of these fans might also be donors who might stop donating to the university if their demands are not met. It is not uncommon for disgruntled fans to threaten such action, but it is also not uncommon for these threats to be made by fans who never donated to the university in the first place. These are just some of the interested parties involved in our hypothetical coach's professional life, but it is important not to forget that hopefully our coach has a personal life as well. The fact that Coach Wooden won 10 national championships and 88 games in a row is astonishing. But it's not as impressive to me as the fact that throughout his career, he had a wife and 2 children who knew that they were John Wooden's highest priority. So after considering the interested parties, where should the head coach's primary loyalties lie? And whose interests should he or she consider first? Should it be the players or their friends and family, the assistant coaches and the administrative staff? Perhaps the athletic director and the athletic department, or the president and the university, or perhaps the media who cover the sport. Now, you may not be a head coach at a large university, but put yourself in his or her shoes for a moment and consider whose interests you would put first. And then consider your own coaching situation. The context may be very different, but what will remain the same is that there will be people around you who matter, above, beside, and below. Create a motive map. Include everyone above, below, and beside you. And consider what each interested party wants and whose interests you should put first. Your motive map will likely include a very different set of connections, but your motive map can be a helpful tool in organizing the relationships that you have with the people in your ecosystem. And your motive map can serve as a reminder to be deliberate in thinking about how you can help those around you get what they want. If you consistently find ways to serve those around you, the people in your life will tend to reciprocate when you need help. Social psychologists call this the norm of reciprocity, and it is a norm that exists across cultures. We also know that those who serve others are more likely to find success and happiness. Best wishes as you contemplate how you will distribute your loyalty as you lead. And remember the wisdom of John Wooden, that loyalty means being true to yourself and being true to those that you lead.